Listen up to this before you feed your cat this morning. It's because some cat food is being recalled because of things found in the can that weren't food.
Veterinarians are finally breaking their silence about the cat food conspiracy that's been hiding in plain sight. 7 household names everyone trusts are using a legal loophole to include something so disturbing most cat owners would never feed their pets again if they knew the truth. Walking down the pet food aisle feels like navigating a minefield these days. Bright packages scream premium nutrition while your wallet whispers sweet nothings about budget-friendly options. But here's the kicker. That colorful bag of Friskies might be doing more harm than good to your furry dictator. Let's talk about Friskies and their not-so-secret love affair with corn. Ever wonder why your cat acts like they're perpetually hungry after demolishing a bowl? Well, when corn sits pretty as the first ingredient in many Friskies formulas, you're essentially feeding your carnivorous companion what amounts to kitty cereal. Makes sense, right? Cats in the wild definitely hunt down corn stalks between mice catches. Actually, no, that's ridiculous. Your cat's digestive system is about as equipped to handle corn as I am to understand why people still buy fax machines. But wait, there's more. Those artificial flavors dancing through Friskies recipes, they're like makeup on a bad date, covering up what shouldn't be there in the first place. Some cats develop sensitivities faster than you can say vet bill, and suddenly you're playing detective with your pet's digestive system. The real comedy show starts when you realize this familiar brand hasn't updated their playbook since your grandmother was buying cat food. While other companies evolved, Friskies stuck with formulations older than most smartphone users. It's like they're still using a rotary phone in an iPhone world. Then there's the weight gain situation. Many cat owners report their feline friends packing on pounds faster than tourists at an all-you-can-eat buffet when fed certain Friskies dry foods long-term. Those high-carb recipes turn your sleek hunter into a furry Ottoman pretty quickly. Sure, variety is the spice of life, and Friskies offers more flavors than a fancy ice cream shop. But nutritional density, that's where things get interesting. You might think you're spoiling your cat with choices, but you could be shortchanging their health instead. The weird part is how marketing makes everything sound so appealing. But when you peel back the packaging, the reality looks quite different. And speaking of reality checks, let's examine another household name that might surprise you even more. Next up is Meow Mix, and boy, does this one live up to its jingle in all the wrong ways. You know that catchy tune that's been stuck in your head since the 90s? Well, turns out the food itself is about as nutritionally balanced as that repetitive melody. Here's the thing about Meow Mix. Cats absolutely go crazy for it. And I mean crazy. My neighbor's Tabby would knock over furniture just to get to the stuff, but here's where it gets interesting. Loving something doesn't make it good for you. Just ask anyone who's ever demolished a sleeve of cookies at midnight. The main culprit here? Byproduct meals make up a huge chunk of their protein sources. Now, byproducts aren't necessarily evil, but they're basically the mystery meat of the pet food world. We're talking about parts of animals that didn't make it into human food. Organs, bones, blood. It's like getting the leftovers from the butcher shop, except your cat doesn't know they're eating the nutritional equivalent of hot dogs. But wait, there's more. Those colorful little kibbles that look like tiny rainbows. Pure marketing genius and nutritional nonsense rolled into one. Cats see the world differently than we do. They don't care if their food looks like a bag of Skittles. Those artificial colors serve exactly zero purpose, except making us humans think we're buying something special. The real kicker is the carbohydrate content. Meow Mix loads up on corn and wheat, pushing carb levels higher than what most cats should be eating. Remember, cats are obligate carnivores. They're supposed to eat meat, not grain salad. High-carb diets can contribute to diabetes and obesity in cats faster than you can say, meow, 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 meow. Many veterinarians compare feeding Meow Mix long-term to letting your cat live on potato chips. Sure, they'll eat it enthusiastically, but their health might tell a different story down the road. Speaking of misleading marketing, wait until you hear about our next brand's obsession with fancy packaging that hides some pretty questionable ingredient choices. Well, here's where things get interesting with Iams. You know that friend who always brags about their expensive car but forgets to mention it breaks down every other week? That's basically Iams in the cat food world. They've built this whole premium image around their brand, fancy packaging, scientific-sounding claims, the works. But when you flip that bag over and actually read what's inside, it's like finding out your gourmet restaurant meal was microwaved in the back. The biggest red flag: animal byproducts make up a huge chunk of their protein content. Now, I'm not saying byproducts are the devil incarnate, but let's be honest here. When you see chicken byproducts listed prominently, you're basically getting the leftover parts that didn't make it into human food. Beaks, feet, organs, the whole shebang your cat probably wouldn't choose if they were hunting in the wild. But wait, there's more. Despite charging premium prices, Iams loves stuffing their recipes with cheaper fillers. Corn gluten meal, wheat, rice, basically everything except what your carnivorous cat actually needs. It's like ordering a steak and getting a salad with a few bits of meat sprinkled on top. Then there's the transparency issue, or should I say the lack thereof. Some pet owners feel like they need a detective degree just to figure out what's actually in these formulas. The ingredient lists read like a chemistry textbook, and not the fun kind. Here's what really gets me. Past recalls have made some cat owners more cautious about the brand. Nobody wants to play Russian roulette with their furry friend's dinner bowl, right? When concerns about long-term kidney health start popping up in conversations, even if results vary, it makes you wonder. The thing is, byproducts often dominate the protein content in many Iams recipes. Your cat deserves better than nutritional leftovers, especially at those prices. It's like paying first-class money for an economy seat with a scratchy blanket. Speaking of scratchy experiences, wait until you hear about our next brand and their sneaky little secret ingredient that'll make your jaw drop. 9 Lives might sound like a brand that's been around forever, but here's something that'll make you do a double take. They're sneaking sugar into your cat's dinner. Yeah, you heard that right, sugar. In cat food. Now, I'm not talking about fruit or natural sweeteners here. We're dealing with actual added sugars that have no business being anywhere near a carnivore's bowl. It's like putting candy sprinkles on a steak dinner. Completely unnecessary and frankly ridiculous. The problem runs deeper than you'd expect. When I first discovered this little secret, I thought someone was pulling my leg, but there it was, right on the ingredient list of several 9 Lives formulas. Makes sense, right? Because nothing says healthy feline diet like a sugar rush. Here's what really gets me fired up about this whole situation. Cats don't even have taste buds for sweetness. They literally cannot taste sugar the way we do. So who exactly are they trying to please here? The answer is simple. They're banking on owners who think sweeter automatically means better tasting for their pets, but the consequences aren't sweet at all. Those extra sugars can contribute to weight gain faster than your cat can knock a glass off your counter. And trust me, that's saying something. Dental problems become more likely too, because sugar feeds the bacteria that cause tooth decay. Then there's the diabetes concern. Cats are already prone to developing diabetes, especially as they age. Adding unnecessary sugars to their daily diet is like playing Russian roulette with their pancreas. The really frustrating part? 9 Lives has that nostalgic, trustworthy image that makes people assume they're getting quality nutrition. It's the equivalent of finding out your grandmother's secret recipe included a cup of corn syrup that nobody mentioned. Many of their recipes feel stuck in the past when pet food companies thought they could get away with treating cats like tiny dogs with different shaped kibble. Well, those days should be long gone. Speaking of things that should be gone, wait until you hear about our next brand's obsession with making cat food that smells better than it actually nourishes. You know what they say about restaurants that pump artificial vanilla scent into their ventilation systems? They're trying to make you hungry, not healthy. Well, Fancy Feast is basically doing the same thing to your cat. Here's the thing about Fancy Feast. It's like the perfume counter at a department store. Smells amazing, looks fancy, but underneath all that glamour, synthetic everything. My neighbor's cat goes absolutely bonkers for Fancy Feast. I'm talking full-on food drama, complete with howling performances. But here's what she didn't realize until her vet pointed it out. Her kitty was essentially hooked on cat food equivalent of candy. The real kicker is how they market it. Gourmet this, gourmet that. Makes sense, right? Except gourmet shouldn't mean loaded with artificial flavor enhancers. It's like calling a gas station hot dog artisanal because they put it in fancy packaging. Let's talk about what's actually in there. Many Fancy Feast formulas read like a chemistry experiment. Artificial colors to make it look appetizing to you. Because newsflash, your cat couldn't care less if their food is rainbow colored. They're not posting Instagram photos of their dinner. Then there's the texture enhancers, palatability boosters, and synthetic vitamin blends. Your cat's taste buds are being manipulated more than a reality TV show contestant. But here's the weird part. Cats in the wild don't need artificial anything to enjoy their meals. A mouse doesn't come with added chicken flavor or gravy enhancers. Yet somehow we've convinced ourselves that our house cats need all this extra stuff. The most concerning issue? Cats with sensitive stomachs often struggle with these richer, artificially enhanced recipes. It's like giving someone with a delicate digestive system a triple layer cake for breakfast every day. Look, I get it. Your cat probably acts like Fancy Feast is the greatest invention since the scratching post. The meowing, the purring, the dramatic leg rubbing. It's all very convincing. But remember, kids also prefer candy over vegetables. Speaking of convincing marketing and confusing ingredients, wait until you hear about the next brand that's mastered the art of making simple ingredients sound impossibly complicated. You know what's funny about grocery shopping with your spouse? They'll spend 20 minutes comparing two brands of pasta sauce, reading every ingredient like they're decoding the Dead Sea Scrolls. But when it comes to cat food, most of us just grab whatever's on sale and call it a day. Well, Purina Cat Chow banks on exactly that mentality. Here's the thing about Cat Chow. It's like that friend who seems helpful but never quite tells you the whole story. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry textbook written by someone who forgot cats are supposed to eat meat. Let me break this down for you. When you flip over a bag of cat chow, you'll see corn listed as one of the first ingredients. Now, I'm not saying corn is evil. Heck, I love a good corn on the cob at summer barbecues. But last I checked, cats weren't prowling through cornfields hunting for dinner. The real kicker? Many cat chow formulas contain more plant-based ingredients than actual meat. It's like serving your grandfather a salad and calling it Sunday dinner. Sure, it'll fill him up, but he's going to be looking around for the real food. Then there's the ingredient maze itself. Reading a cat chow label feels like trying to follow directions from someone who's never actually been to the destination. You'll see terms like poultry byproduct meal and meat and bone meal, which sounds official but tells you absolutely nothing about what your cat is actually eating. But here's what really gets me. Some cat chow recipes have surprisingly low taurine levels compared to premium brands. Taurine is like the premium gas for your cat's heart and eyes. Skimp on it, and you're basically running a Ferrari on regular unleaded. The brand's popularity doesn't help either. It's everywhere. It's affordable, and it's familiar. But popularity in the pet food world is like judging a restaurant by how many cars are in the parking lot. Sometimes you're just looking at the drive-through crowd. Speaking of misleading popularity, wait until you hear about our next brand. Hill's Science Diet wraps itself in more scientific jargon than a pharmaceutical commercial, but the reality behind those lab coats might surprise you. Hill's Science Diet throws around words like scientifically formulated and veterinarian recommended more than a politician makes campaign promises. But here's the kicker. Their ingredient lists read like a masterclass in creative writing rather than straight talk. Take their chicken meal descriptions. What exactly does that mean? Well, it's about as clear as mud on a rainy day. They'll list poultry byproduct meal without telling you whether that's premium chicken breast or the stuff that usually gets tossed in the dumpster behind the processing plant. I've spent more time decoding Hill's ingredient panels than I did figuring out my first smartphone. And trust me, that took weeks. The real head scratcher? They market themselves as the brainy choice for cat nutrition, yet many of their dry formulas list corn or wheat as primary ingredients. Last time I checked, wildcats weren't raiding cornfields for their midnight snacks. Makes sense, right? But wait, it gets weirder. Their protein percentages often fall short compared to brands that cost half the price. You're paying premium dollars for what feels like economy nutrition dressed up in a lab coat. Then there's the prescription diet halo effect. Just because they make therapeutic foods doesn't mean their regular stuff deserves the same respect. It's like assuming every car from BMW drives like a race car. Nice thought, but not exactly reality. Some cats develop what I call science diet sensitivity. Loose stools, finicky eating, or that look that says, "Really human?" when you pour it in their bowl. My neighbor's Tabby started acting like a food critic after switching to Hill's, turning his nose up at meals like he was reviewing a bad restaurant. The marketing budget for this brand must be enormous. They've convinced half the pet industry that complex ingredient names equal superior nutrition. But sometimes the fanciest sounding meal is just regular food wearing a tuxedo. Here's what really gets me. For the price you pay, you could feed your cat like royalty with brands that actually put meat first and skip the scientific jargon. Speaking of treating cats like royalty, let me tell you about two brands that actually deserve your hard-earned money. Finally, a brand that actually gets it right. Orijen treats your cat like the little carnivore they really are, not some grain-loving farm animal. Here's what makes Orijen different. Every single recipe starts with fresh or raw meat as the first ingredient. Not meat meal, not byproducts. Real, honest-to-goodness meat that would make your butcher jealous. The ingredient list reads like a safari menu. Free-run chicken, wild-caught fish, grass-fed lamb. My neighbor's cat practically does backflips when she opens a bag. The smell alone could wake a sleeping lion. But here's where it gets interesting. Orijen packs their kibble with up to 90% animal ingredients. That's more meat than some people eat. Most grocery store brands barely hit 30%. It's like comparing a steakhouse dinner to cafeteria mystery meat. Then there's the transparency factor. Orijen tells you exactly where every ingredient comes from. Their chicken, raised on local farms, fish, caught fresh from pristine waters. They're so proud of their sourcing, they practically give you GPS coordinates. Cat owners consistently report shinier coats within weeks. Energy levels that would put a kitten to shame. Even those finicky eaters who turn their nose up at everything else suddenly become food enthusiasts. Makes sense, right? The protein content sits around 40% or higher. That's what your cat's wild ancestors would have eaten, minus the whole catching mice at 3 a.m. routine. Now, let's be honest about the price tag. Orijen costs more than budget brands. But when you break it down per feeding, it's like choosing between fast food and a quality restaurant. Your cat's health is worth those extra dollars. The freeze-dried inclusion of raw meat adds another layer of nutrition. It's like getting the benefits of a raw diet without the hassle of handling raw ingredients yourself. Quality control, top-notch. Their facilities meet human food standards. That's cleaner than some restaurants I've eaten at. Well, Orijen isn't the only brand worth considering. There's another heavyweight champion that takes a completely different approach to cat nutrition. Now let's talk about our second winner, Royal Canin. And before you roll your eyes thinking this is another fancy European brand with more marketing than substance, hear me out. Royal Canin takes a completely different approach than Orijen. While Orijen goes wild with meat content, Royal Canin plays the precision game. Think of it like the difference between a master chef who throws amazing ingredients together versus a scientist who measures everything down to the milligram. What makes Royal Canin special? They create formulas for specific situations. Got a 7-year-old Maine Coon with a sensitive stomach? There's probably a Royal Canin formula designed exactly for that scenario. It's like having a tailor for your cat's digestive system. Here's where it gets interesting. Veterinarians recommend Royal Canin more than almost any other brand. Not because of flashy advertising, but because they see results in their patients. When your vet suggests switching to Royal Canin, they're usually trying to solve a specific problem, and it often works. The research behind their formulas is honestly impressive. They don't just throw nutrients together and hope for the best. Each recipe targets particular health needs and life stages. Senior cats especially seem to thrive on their age-specific formulations. But here's the part that surprised me most about Royal Canin. Their quality control is tighter than my grandfather's wallet during the Great Depression. Every batch gets tested multiple times before it reaches your cat's bowl. They've built their entire reputation on consistency, which explains why veterinary clinics stock it so heavily. The digestibility factor is where Royal Canin really shines. Even cats with touchy stomachs often handle these formulas well. It's like they figured out how to make cat food that doesn't upset anyone's system. Now, Royal Canin isn't perfect. Some cat owners want more whole food ingredients and less scientific precision. Fair enough. But when your cat has health issues or you want something reliable that won't cause digestive drama, Royal Canin delivers. The bottom line? Royal Canin earned its spot through decades of solving real problems for real cats. Sometimes the tortoise really does beat the hare, but wait. There's something crucial about cat feeding that most owners get completely wrong.